Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel. So the other day I heard a statistic that said Americans throw away 60% of the food that is brought into their home. That is insane to me, because that means if you spend $1,000 a month on groceries, you're throwing away $600 of it. But today I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks on how I am reducing that dramatically. Some of it, as far as produce wise, I'm not throwing away anything. So I'm sure you already have the few things you're going to need in your house. I'm sure you have probably several of these things. One of them is a glass jar with a lid. And then the other thing is just some regular old 5% white vinegar. Now, this is just refilled out of this that I get from Costco. It's like $4. You get 2 of these. And so I'm sure most of us already have the items that we need to make sure that our produce lasts way longer. I mean, much longer. I'll show you. I'll give you an example. So these grapes, this is just a ball jar. It doesn't have to be a ball. It can be anything. And also, it could also be an old pickle jar, you know, whatever. But it needs a lid. And so these grapes are somewhere between 3 weeks and a month old. And they are good as anything. There is, I have the paper towel at the bottom. These are still perfectly fine. I just had a few earlier. They're great, right? So there's that. Here is some peppers. A whole bunch of these little peppers. They had these for like $1.29 at Winco, and so I got a couple of them. And we use these for all kinds of things, but the point is I just put it in a little glass bowl in my crisper drawer. I do have a just a paper towel in there to get any moisture or whatever that might be in there. But it's you don't have to put the paper towel in there as long as they are dry. So here is what we do. When we come home from the store, we take a, you know, some sort of a bowl, whatever. This one's glass, but you can use a plastic one. You can even make sure you clean your sink out really good and just use your sink. Just put the stopper in there and you're good to go. But in this size bowl, you're going to use a 1/4 cup of vinegar. And what that vinegar is going to do is it's going to kill the mold spores, any kind of bacteria. It's going to kill all that stuff that makes our produce go bad faster, right? And so you're going to put the 1/4 cup in the water, and you're going to let your produce sit in there for 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes, that's all. And then you're going to take them out of there, and I put them in a colander and just, you know, hose them down or just rinse them under the water. But you want to make sure that you use the 5% vinegar, the like food one, not the cleaning one. And then you're just going to put a little bit of this in there in the water, fill up your water bowl, let it sit in there for 2 minutes. Make sure you set a timer, because 2 minutes goes by really fast, and you're going to take a phone call and you're going to have to go swap the laundry and yada yada. Pretty soon it's 10 minutes. You want to make sure you set a timer, because that's really important. Because we're not trying to cook the food, we're just trying to get all of the bacteria and everything off. I'm going to show you a couple more things here. So these are some mushrooms that I've had for about 3 weeks, and they are perfectly good. These I do not wash until I'm going to use them, right? I don't wash them until I'm going to use them. And the other thing is I don't wash these with vinegar. These I just wash with water, and it works just fine. The next one is garlic, right? I take off a couple of the little bulbs and whoop, throw some on the floor. It's no big deal. And then I just put it just in an open jar, right up in my spice cabinet. And then I just use them right out of there. There's no reason to put them in the fridge. I don't have to put them in a baggie. No issue. And another one is some of these tomatoes. I I have these I do wash for the 2 minutes, and then I have a little towel or a little paper towel underneath here with the lid. Here's the thing is, if you're going to put stuff in jars, you want to make sure that they are dry. So when you wash them, you want to put them out on a towel. I use an old beach towel out on my countertop. And then just make sure that they're completely dry before you put them away. Let me find another one here. Oh, here we go. This is cilantro that I have in my fridge, and I've had it for a month. And so what I do is, you can see the little pieces here, or not the pieces, but the stems. When I come home from the grocery store, I snip those off like you would flowers, but just a little bit. And then each week, because I go grocery shopping every week, each week I just clip it just a little bit more so that the water can be drawn up. Now, whenever you're doing this, or parsley, anything like that, or say you're trying to revive some celery, right? Or carrots or something like that, where you're trying to get them to draw up the water, you want to make sure that this water is a like filtered water that you're going to drink, because for some reason the plants do not like the tap water. If it's got like a lot of chlorine and all of that, they just don't like it, and it will kill them. So yeah, we're trying not to do that. Hold on, let me grab my lettuce and I'll show you. So this lettuce is about 3 weeks old, and I have it just in one of these Pyrex not to go, but these Pyrex containers. Has a lid, plastic lid. And I have the paper towel on the bottom, and then I wash all of this in that same rinse, the 1/4 cup of vinegar and the water for 2 minutes, and then I make sure this is bone dry before I put that in there. So a lot of times I will take the leaves apart and put them out on my towel, and then they're perfectly dry in a handful of hours, and then that's whenever I can put it all away. But you can see this lettuce is perfectly good, and it's still crispy, and this is 3 weeks old, you guys. This is insane. I had no idea this whole world even existed. It's crazy. Now I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to give you a couple more tips. Okay, so the oranges and lemons, limes, grapefruits, all of that, they can go with avocados. And they will not make each other ripen faster. And so they're perfect to be stored together. I also store these in my refrigerator in the crisper drawer together, because I do have more than this. And then these mangoes, this one is getting a little wrinkly, so I'll be using that in the next day or two. But just leaving them, out on the counter a little bit spaced apart. The bananas, these are a week old, but they've been, a couple of the other ones were pretty brown, and so I just put those in the freezer. And then over here I have a bunch of apples. Now apples will stay good in your fridge for months and months and months. We go through these pretty quickly, so what I do is I fill this up, but then I also have some out in my other refrigerator. What I wanted to show you with these, though, is I am a person that loves a beautiful fruit bowl with all the fruit in it, and it's so pretty. I love the way it looks. But here's the thing. Apples, bananas, oranges, all that, you can't store it together. You need to store it about 3 feet apart. That's why I have them distanced, because they will make each other go bad rather than storing them separately by themselves. Okay, I'm taking you into the pantry. Okay, so down here is where I store my onions. Just in one of these little baskets that you can get. I don't remember where I got these. Maybe Amazon, Target, I don't know. Maybe the dollar store. But I just keep a brown paper sack in here. And this is where my onions go. And my garlic, if it's not opened. And here's an interesting thing about onions. When you pick them, can you hear that? It has a papery sound. that means that this onion needs to be, again, like needs to be eaten, you know, because it's dehydrating. And so if I were to get a bunch of onions at the store, what I would do is find the ones that have no sound because they're not dehydrating. And so another point with that is you want to keep your onions about at least 3 feet away from your potatoes. So my potatoes are on this side of my pantry, and you can see this is just a regular basket with a towel over it because you want to keep the light off, but it needs to breathe, right? And so I have sweet potatoes in here, red potatoes, russets. They're not washed. I do not wash them before I'm going to use them. And the reason for that is because if you keep the dirt on them, they will last a heck of a lot longer. But you want to make sure that you keep them separate. I opened the fridge so the dogs think I'm going to give them something. That's funny. Okay, but this is what I was showing you in the crisper drawer. I keep all of our citrus. That's where I keep also the avocados because they are really good to be stored together because they don't make each other go bad. That's really important. Let's see here. What else was I going to show you? Up here. The other thing is when I have like a little bit of olives, the extra green beans, that kind of stuff, I always store these in glass. The other thing is these are mangoes from one of the other mangoes I cut up. The glass makes it last longer. It makes it, airtight. So I think that's what makes it last so long. But this basket, I've got some onion in there, some ginger, but I don't know how to store that yet. I need to figure that out. But I've got these tomatoes and mushrooms. These are a couple weeks old, all of that. And then I've got a little bit of lettuce that somebody put in there. But this is kind of like a salad basket. And so if there's anything that needs to be used up first, this is the basket that it is in. And I cannot tell you how much money I have saved with knowing how to store this stuff. Also, I was going to show you this. This is where I keep my cilantro. And if I have parsley, that's also where it goes. In a little glass. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a jar. You can use a glass, whatever. Just make sure it's kind of short and stubby so that it doesn't fall over. But yeah, just keep that in there and your herbs will last for a very long time. Like I said, this is probably a month old, this cilantro. And I'll probably use the rest of it up this week and then have to get some more. So before I go, so these are some green onions, obviously. And so I just bring them home. I wash them just like I was telling you the rinse earlier. And if you'll notice, the ends of these are open, right? When you bring them home from the store, like if you clip them off, the ends of them are open. And then when they grow back, they're closed. And so it's really important to submerge them so that wash gets down into all these little veins and everything. But this is what I do with them. Put them in a glass and just put a little bit of water in them. And then we just use these. And then probably after they grow back like 3 times, they're really bitter. They're still great for like salads and stuff, but they'd be a little bit bitter. But they're also really good for cooking at that point too. Instead of just eating fresh, you throw them in with some whatever other onions you're going to use. Wow, words are hard today. So I was going to show you these onions. So what I'll do is, you know how you can get the bag of onions for a really great price? So I will do that. And then what I do with those onions, because a lot of times there's some that are, a little maybe on the softer side, or they're not super hard, or they're already starting to shrink a little bit and whatever. I cut them all up. I have this little chopper thing. I cut all of them up and I put them in these bags in the freezer. And then, so I'll put them in here and then I'll put them in a bigger Ziploc. And I store these in the freezer and I almost never have to cut up onions. It's amazing. So, and that's when I need them for cooking. If I need them for fresh, that's a different story. Then I will. But I don't buy very many like single onions because we don't use that many fresh. I usually use them in cooking, right? And then the other thing is I use the green onions for fresh a lot. So, but this is what I do for the scraps and also how I make veggie broth. And so I just put all the scraps in there, and I don't care if it's pretty personally. So I will throw the peelings of the sweet potatoes in here, the peelings of regular potatoes. There's some celery in here. Looks like some spinach or lettuce or something. Onion, papers, all of it. End of carrots, all that kind of stuff. And so I just put this in a pot with maybe a bay leaf, or sometimes just not. I'll put it in the crock pot. I'll dump it all in there, pour some water in there. And if I want to salt it, I will. If not, then I just leave it how it is. And then also sometimes if I'm making chicken stock, I will add this to, you know, the chicken bones or whatever in the crock pot. And it just makes it a very well-rounded chicken broth. So that's how I am, you know, trying to stay more on the zero waste train. So let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I am learning this, and where I've been learning this stuff from is the name of the channel is The Cross Legacy, and it is amazing. Her whole channel is about produce. Well, I think it's also, she also does some pantry stuff and whatever, but most of it's produce. Do you remember the, I don't know how long ago it was, last year, the year before, or whatever, the thing on TikTok and whatever, there's on YouTube Shorts and whatever, there was a thing that was saying that this lady could get her strawberries to last for 3 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever. It's that lady. So go check her out. She's got a ton of information, but I'm just showing you what I'm learning right now. And as I learn more, I will keep you guys updated, because we all need to, one, reduce our food waste, but two, keep some more of that money in our pocket, because if we aren't having to buy the same things over and over, and we're not using them quick enough, and then we have to throw it away. We do that over and over and over. This saves so much money, you guys. It's crazy. So, as a lot of you guys know, a while ago we started more on a more of a healthier eating journey. So we are eating a ton of produce in the last while, and so this is saving me so much money. All right, let me know what you think down in the comments. Give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video.